Hi everyone, I'm Andrea Angella and welcome to the Azure via C# video series. In this video, I'd like to show you how to use the Azure Storage API in order to upload files into a blob storage account using C#. In order to do so, the first thing you need to do is to actually create a storage account using the Azure portal. As you can see here, I already have a storage account called Azure via C# created in the portal. In order to access it in C#, I need to have the name of the storage account and the access keys. You can find the access keys in the settings and access keys in the portal. Once you've got those values, you can actually copy those into your application. And I have a constant storage account name and a storage account key value here. You can save that in a connection string if you want. The goal for this video is to take all the files inside the Azure via C# local folder and upload them into the blob storage. Let's do that. The first things I need to do is I need to create a storage account. And this is called Cloud Storage Account. It takes the credential of the storage. I need to create the credentials, and basically I need to provide the account name and the key that I already have in the constant. And then I need to say that I want to use HTTPS, for example. Right? So now I have a storage account. The next steps is to get a reference to the blob client. And I use the method create cloud blob client. A storage account, particularly the blob service, is made of many containers. So you can organize your blobs that are actually files on the cloud. You can see that in this way. You can organize them into containers. You need to have a container in order to create blobs. So the next logical step is to create a container. Container equals, and I do blob client get container reference. I can give a name to the container, let's say my container. So this returns a reference to a container, but I haven't created a container. In order to do that, I need to use the method create if not exist. By default, Azure creates a container that is private. So only clients that have access to this account key can actually get the files. But let's say we want to publish these files on the internet, so makes them available. Now to do that, I need to set the permissions of the container to blob using the blob container permissions, and I set that to public access blob. This is the way to make them public. Perfect. So now I have a container. What I want to do, I want to iterate through the local folders. So this is you can do that using the directory getFiles method. And I use the folder path, and I want to get all the files in the directory, and I want to do that in a recursive way. And here I have the file path. And so now I have all the files. What I want to do now, I want to create a blob using the container dot get block blob reference, and I pass the file path. So we are saying I want to create a blob with a name that is equivalent to the local path of my file. And after that, the next step is uploading the content to the cloud. And they can use different methods. I'm going to use the upload from file, and they provide a file path. This is going to upload the content of the files to the Azure storage. And let me print a status update to show the uploaded, to show the name of the file that are actually uploaded. Perfect. Let's try to run this code and see what happens. You can see that I uploaded the test file, the doc file, and the 2 images. And let's verify that. I get back to the Azure portal, I click on my storage account and blob service, and I can see that now I have a container here. I click on my container, and I can navigate into the files that I uploaded. I uploaded the images, the documents, and so on. As you can see, Azure is showing the files in a kind of hierarchical structures, even if in reality the folder concept doesn't exist in the blob storage. The interesting thing, if you click on a particular file, you can get a URL that allows you to access the results on the internet. If I do that, for example, I will automatically get a file and download that on my machine, and I can see that this is the image publicly available on the internet. So this is it. This is the way to use the Azure Storage API to upload files into the cloud using C#. Thanks for watching.